Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Wednesday Ramblings. I'm Robbie O'Leaf, and today I am going to discuss a couple of young adult books that I have recently read for Halloween this month. The first book I'm going to talk about is Adam Cesare's Clown in a Cornfield. Um, Despite the kind of supernatural looking cornfield going on here, this is not a supernatural book. It is a slasher. My understanding is that the cover was picked by the publishers, not the author himself. So I guess they were trying to kind of cash in on it with that. But the story begins a year in the past, in which case we meet a couple of kids named Cole, Janet, and Ronnie, and they are filming a YouTube video while having a party. And unfortunately, Cole's younger sister, Victoria, dies while showing off. So the novel then jumps ahead a year, and we're introduced to the main character, Quinn, who is just moving to Kettle Springs, Missouri from, I think, Philadelphia it is, with her dad. Her mother's long been dead, and her father has just got a new job as the doctor in town. So he is moving halfway across the country to become this town's new doctor. Apologies if you hear me sniffing. If you watched my last week's Fall Guys Fridays, and I believe I also mentioned it while playing the Thimbleweed Park demo, I've got a bit of not sure if it's a cold or not, but I'm going to be sniffing and sipping hot beverages for a bit. But anyway, Quinn meets her neighbor Rust, a kid at her school. But she doesn't really become close to him. Instead, she winds up becoming close to Cole, Janet, and Ronnie and their group of friends. And this happens because the kids all get in trouble with their teacher, Mr. Verne. And Quinn accidentally gets roped into it. And they all get blocked from the town's founders parade or something like that. So the novel has a kind of a weird thing going where the conservative parents in the town do not like the more liberal teenagers. And I probably shouldn't say super liberal, but just there are a lot of strange political references throughout the book. Make Kettle Springs great. The snowflake is used, I'm pretty sure. There's a half-assed gun debate in it at one point. The first 100 pages or so are not very interesting to me at all. The author, Adam Cesare, is basically just introducing you to the kids. There's nothing really interesting about them at all. So I didn't care about that at all. It's not until probably around 40% of the way through the novel that the action actually picks up. And from there, Clown in a Cornfield gets much better, just once the slashing actually starts. I don't want to go into too many details about it, but I was surprised by the identity of the killer. I didn't expect that at all. And there's a few twists along the way that are interesting. One of them, honestly, didn't work for me. But without going into too many spoilers, I won't say what it was. But there's some characters whose motivations don't really make sense. So I found the writing of Clown in a Cornfield to be fair. Adam Cesare, at first I thought this might have been his debut novel, but I looked into it and it's not. But it's a young adult novel, but it almost feels like it's written by a teenager. And which is fine given the audience he's going for, but it just didn't appeal to me personally. But like I said, the action is actually really good. It will make a good movie, I believe. From what I've read, the rights have been optioned off. And there is a sequel, which I will probably check out, called Friendo Lives. Friendo is the name of the clown that is the mascot of the town, as well as the identity that the killer hides behind as they rampage through Kettle Springs. So you should definitely check it out. It's I mean, you're not missing anything major if you don't. The writing is not the greatest, but the story is there, and I did enjoy it. The other book I want to talk about today, I'm only about 50 pages in, so I've only scratched the surface. But in apologies if I mispronounce the author's name or if I mispronounce Cesare's name. But the other book I want to discuss is The Girl from the Well by Rin Chupeco. Now, if you look at the cover, it's kind of got a ring vibe, which makes sense. Rin is a Chinese-Filipino writer who was raised in the Philippines. And so I believe, I mean, I don't know for sure, but I'm supposing that part of the story is inspired by mythology from Far East. So The Girl from the Well is actually about a girl named, and again, apologies if I mispronounce this, I'm almost guaranteed to, Okiku, who was murdered a very long time ago and is now a ghost who wanders around avenging murdered children. And so it seems as though she has found a young teen who is going to be murdered, and so she's kind of following him around, and she's finding that he's got something unusual about him as well that she's interested in. Chupeco's writing is much, much different than Cesare's. It feels much more mature, despite the fact that this is also a young adult novel. And the characters don't feel completely vapid. I will say the main boy at times, when he's not dealing with his own personal struggle that I won't go into here, but at times he comes across a bit meh to me. His attempts to isolate himself aren't very interesting, just feel super forced. But I do like the way that Rin really writes for Okiku. Being a ghost, Okiku does not show surprise to things the way that you would expect, especially in a novel targeted at young adults and teenagers. Okiku kind of just describes it plainly, while also having strange tendencies. For various times, she'll be counting things throughout the novel, and there is a reason for this that has kind of been touched upon. Not fully, we just know that she has an issue with numbers. And so far, it's a really, really enjoyable book, and I'm looking forward to getting into finishing it. So I will probably do a more in-depth review of that later after I finish. I don't know if I'll get around to it for next week's, but I should be able to complete it and, assuming something else doesn't come up, discuss it before Halloween rolls around. Now, last week I mentioned how I wasn't sure if I was going to do an episode around Chucky every week, and obviously, based off what I've talked about, I've decided not to. One of the reasons for this is I'm still not 100% sure if I'm going to have access to the show or not. Currently, Sci-Fi has aired the first 2 episodes on their website and on YouTube, which, if I remember correctly, is what they did last year as well. And then, but they only did that with the first 2 episodes, and then the rest of the episodes you had to pay on another platform like Google Play or Amazon or something like that. So if they do that again this year, I'll be able to continue watching the show. But I did see last week's episode, and while I enjoyed it, I don't think it was really worth devoting an entire episode to. So maybe I'll talk about the series more if I get to continue to watch and some major stuff happens that I just absolutely have to talk about. But for right now, that is not the plan. I'm just going to discuss some other things throughout the week. Again, hopefully, The Girl from the Well will be one of the things that I will discuss in an upcoming Wednesday Rambling. And just different stuff as well. Maybe I'll also discuss my visit last Thursday to see the Rocky Horror Picture Show. The first time I'd seen the stage version of that. Well, that's going to be it for this week. I don't want to talk too much with this. I'm not sure if it's a cold or just allergies. I did take 2 COVID tests, one Thursday before Rocky Horror, and then another yesterday. I'm filming this on Sunday, actually. So I took one Saturday, and both times the COVID test came back negative. Could still be some kind of a bug or the flu or something, but I think it's just allergies from this season change. But so my next few videos are probably going to be me talking less than usual as I just kind of repair my voice. It's not sore like it was Thursday and Friday, but obviously I still got a bit of the sniffles. I've still got some coughing, so I'm going to try and take it easy. Well, Ravio Geeks, that's going to be all for this week. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you check out these books. They are, especially The Girl from the Well. I haven't finished it, so I can't say that I'll love it all the way through, but I'm really liking the writing in it. And Clown in the Cornfield has some nice twists, so despite the rough first 140 pages or so, it's not a bad book at all. I would suggest checking it out if you love Halloween and aren't terrified of clowns. But for this, that's all for now. I'm Ravio Leaf. I'm still a little messed up. I had to stop and think, wait, what's my name? I'm Ravio Leaf, and I'm Ravio Leaving.